Hey, what is up everybody, Platform Disciple here, and just to recap on our previous video, which was the card creation contest with the flamed on 7 cost or greater cards. The finalist, the total winner is here, and that is going to be One Final March, and the creator of that card, I'm not sure how they prefer their username pronounced. I'm going to go with as Samite, assuming that the E or that the 3 at the end is an E, but you know, the point is that they won, and they're going to be receiving an alternate art Martyr Golem for that. And just to judge like whether I should do this again or not, I'm probably going to have another vote up in the top right-hand corner saying, do you want more contests, whether they're card creation contests or something else, I haven't decided yet, but would you like more contests, or would you prefer more gameplay and rant style content? Like, just tell me what you guys want, and I will listen. And next up, random pack giveaway, Ocean Dragon. You won that from the last video, so you should see in your inventory a new pack, and that's what that is, in case you were confused why you had that. That's where it came from. And yeah, now it's time to get into the actual serious bit of the video, and I'm doing this for a few reasons. One is I've been playing a lot more ranked this month than I have in the past few months. As you can see, 1370, I'm not messing around too much, and we're 22nd on the leaderboard right now. And one of the decks I have been using is a pretty interesting one for a couple of reasons. One is I've been using the new Tigris, and the second is that this is also a very, very popular kind of, I consider this a top tier deck. So it's worth going over for all you newer players who want to learn the ropes for ranked a little. And what's super, super nice about this deck for new players is, like I said, I consider this a top tier deck, and there are very, very few cards that you are required to have to play this deck at its maximum functionality. You need a Logrithmatron for the command zone. You need a Hakim for the command zone, and I seriously recommend 3 Hakims in the deck as well, and nothing else in here is required, but I will go over the individual cards. Let's first talk about those essential cards. Logrithmatron, 1 cost card, untouchable, which is very important, and you can overcharge it once and exhaust it to double its current power and health, and you can do that from the command zone. The point of this deck is to do that basically every single turn until you win the game. So keep that in mind. And then Hakim is a core part of this combo. Hakim, when you deploy Hakim, gives all your characters unstoppable, which allows them to attack again if they kill a character. So if Logrithmatron has 160 power and health, it's extremely unlikely that if you give him unstoppable that your opponent will be able to stop him. And yeah, you're basically going for a one-shot kill. Now, I've been using Tigris or Tigris. I don't know how you want to pronounce that. I initially was saying Tigris for the longest time, but then very recently had second doubts and started calling him Tigris. I don't know. But point is, he's very nice in this deck because you put so many of your cards into Logrithmatron that you very frequently can't justify playing cards from your hand because you need extra fuel for this guy. And Tigris lets you basically do something that's fairly cost efficient without expending cards in your hand, which is very nice. And he's also pretty versatile because you can give the characters charge to apply immediate pressure and get your opponent down lower, so you can actually go in for the kill with Logrithmatron earlier, or you can just get raw stats, or you can get vigilance to help defend against like a flamed on deck, or you can get flying, which is very helpful if you're against a deck that has flyers that you can't defend from, or you can do some kind of combination, like you can give vigilance and flying. So I like him a lot, but if you don't have Tigris, he is a legendary after all. Another good option is the Biginator. Agent Coil Mechborn is also pretty good, although he is also a legend. any kind of splitter, whether it's going to be splitter robot or splitter light. Those are good. But I've been using Tigris. Let's go over the rest of the deck. So, and keep in mind, as I go through this, the majority of the cards in this deck, we overcharge a lot of times. So we can justify using some more situational cards. Rabid Rabbit, for example, is only really useful against aggressive decks, but this deck is so weak against aggressive decks a lot of the time that it's very good to have your deck tooled against those aggressive decks, and if you're not against an aggressive deck, you can start overcharging those cards. So we've got Rabid Rabbit. We got 3 more Hakims, and those are there just in case our first Hakim in the command zone dies. My list uses 1 Wreckful Walrus main decked, just in the off scenario that he's useful. Lil Timmybot is nice because he is a low resource investment and low card investment, because when he dies, he gives you back a card. And like I said, you frequently struggle with the amount of cards you have in your hand because Logrithmatron eats them all. The Biginator is quite good in this deck, and that's pretty easy to explain because he gets bigger whenever you overcharge Logrithmatron. Splitter Light is just a great card for defending. It's another card for defending against aggressive decks. And we've got Defiant Engineer, which is a unique one because it's the only card we have in the deck that actually, we only overcharge. I have never actually played this card. I only overcharge it to Logrithmatron because we get some bonuses for overcharging that. As a matter of fact, we can even play Logrithmatron from the command zone and give him +1/+1 to help speed us up to that one-shot range. Unstable Bombot, another card that's very good against aggressive decks. Treasure Hunter, another card like Little Timmybot that's a low card investment because it lets us fix our hand. Admittedly, we have to play it and we have to overcharge a card and then we draw 2. So technically we don't gain any cards really, but we at least replace them, which is good. We've got 1 Luca Rebellion Leader main decked, and that's there so that we can get through mass death in the off chance that we have to deal with that. Then we've got Recycle, another low card investment, low resource investment kind of card. Fight, which is our only real removal. We've got Controlled Temporal Anomaly, which is good at getting rid of some of the very few characters that we have to care about. One example is anything with multiple lives. If you kill something with multiple lives with Logrithmatron, even if he has Unstoppable, it stops them, because what Unstoppable is really checking for is if that character went to the discard pile, whether they actually died, and they don't actually die if they just lose a life. So it's very important to have this card around. We've got Scouting Missions. I honestly, if you're going to cut something from this deck, this is probably the first thing to cut. They haven't been as helpful as I thought they would be, but they're in there mostly so we can block with them, or they also block flying characters, which is pretty important. I don't know. This card's the hardest one to justify in here. And then we got Retaliation, which is another defensive removal card, although it costs more than Fight. Kills basically anything, so that's pretty nice. And then the sideboard, and the sideboard's pretty important for this. Luca Rebellion Leader is very important because it helps us get through mass death, and I think it's explained, like, you know, the combo is to play Logrithmatron and kill them one turn, and if they guess the correct turn to play mass death, and they kill your Logrithmatron, you're basically screwed, and this card helps you guarantee that you're not going to get wiped by mass death. Disruption Sphere is in here on the sideboard because in most cases this card is going to hurt your opponent more than it hurts you, and that of course is compounded by what deck they're playing. Like if they're playing triple Veror, this is going to screw with them real hard. Cleanse the Land, that's in there for killing locations. We've got 2 more Wreckful Walruses to kill artifacts, and that's pretty important because of things like Shunhel's Urn. And then we've got Hulking Sniper, which is extremely good against flying characters because it potentially kills something and then it potentially blocks at least once. So yeah, that's the whole deck list. I've been having quite a bit of success with it. and we're going to jump into a game and just show you how it plays. Okay, so we are up against a double Flamed On 1 Genesis. It's very hard for me to judge how tough a matchup this is going to be for us, because I don't really know what their game plan is. Obviously, it's some kind of aggro, and it's possible that they're just using the Genesis for Splitter Light alone, because Splitter Light synergizes very well with Bromic and Bromic's banner and things like that. But I think that means that we are going to pitch away our Hakim, because it's very unlikely that he's going to kill the one in the command zone, and it's very likely that we're going to need our anti-aggro cards. Like Fight is going to get rid of this Chlor, which is pretty important for us, and I think it's worth doing right now, actually. And obviously Wreckful Walrus, probably not going to matter. It does kill Bromic's banner, but Bromic's banner is a slower card, and the deck that we're using is fairly medium speed, actually. It's not fast. It's far from fast, because it doesn't do anything until the turn that it goes for the one shot. But if I'm remembering correctly, it's like turn 8 or 9 where the thing's pretty big. Like you can kill them before they get the Calamity, and that's of course something that's extremely important to how viable this deck is. I think we're going to just play our Rabbit because it's very likely to 2-for-1 here, because he's probably going to play a charge character, and we're going to use our resources efficiently and just play our Logrithmatron. Now it's very very unlikely that he kills Logrithmatron because it's deployed, because it is untouchable. The only cards that you really need to watch out for when you're moving it from the command zone to the support zone are things like Annihilate. No, not Annihilate. Oh, I'm forgetting the name. There's a Vero card that does 5 damage to everything in the support zone. And there's Spontaneous Combustion, which does 12 damage to deployed characters, randomized. I'm tempted to get rid of our other Hakim. The risk we run there, though, is if he kills this one, we're in big trouble. But it's so unlikely that he does that I think we can actually gamble with it. Okay. Tough calls here. But I think what we're gonna do, even though it really hurts our hand of cards, is we're gonna overcharge our Unstable Bombot, because this gives us a very, very good chance of getting multiple characters killed here again. Okay. So he kills one, trades, doesn't kill that one, and then that. So, and this is still alive. So that was something that we want to happen, obviously. And we only have one card available to overcharge. We're going to overcharge it. We could spend our 5 resources to draw a new card, but because he's playing double Flamed On, it's much, much more important for us to generate characters. And although we could do Vigilance right now and put the 8/8 straight into the defense zone, we actually have 2 defending characters already. So I think it's better to just produce a very large character and, you know, use that to defend the subsequent turn. Like, it's turn 5 already, and he's dealt only, you know, 12 damage to us as Flamed On. So we're in really, really good shape. Oh, I was about to try to use our Fight, but we need to overcharge it, like I said. It's an unfortunate aspect of this deck, but I think it's definitely something we want to do here. And I think, once again, we might just want to go for the raw stats, although we could do Vigilance here. Tough call, really. I think we're going to order them like this. So this guy, he's going to get Flag Bearer out, probably, if they play Flag Bearer, at least. Why don't we try Vigilance, because that gives us a chance to kill Bromic, who's the biggest problem for us right now. Okay, Sackless is gonna hit us pretty hard. His Taiga is fortunately doing very, very little for him. And it looks like we didn't need the Vigilance, but we didn't lose that much either. Interesting fact, guys, you can actually kill Sackless after, you know, he uses his effect. Retaliation can hit cards even if they didn't attack, as long as they dealt damage. So I know I didn't think of that the first time I saw the card, and a lot of other people might have not either. One great thing is, so we're going for the one shot next turn, and next turn we have priority, which means there's no way for him to interact with Hakim hitting the board. If he had priority, he could do double Flamed on Commando, but he does not. So we're fine. And I think we are just going to make a big guy. Oh. Are we gonna give some extra abilities here? I guess we might as well give Vigilance. Oh, shoot. There we go. So double Flamed on Commando. And Vigilance is gonna kill this Bromic here. And this almost certainly, yeah, that was the one shot we were looking for. And he clearly knew it was coming and clearly knew he had no way to kill me or do anything. And he actually conceded the 3 out of 3 games. So that was a lot faster than I anticipated. So why don't we do just one more, and then I'll let you guys go about your business. So we're here we are again. Interestingly enough, and I had no idea this was even a popular deck. Interestingly enough, we are playing against somebody using what appears to be the exact same strategy, because their command zone lineup is the exact same. I don't know, man. We don't have as good of an opener against aggro. We have a very strong opener, though. I think we're just gonna use the Defiant Engineer, so that's gonna make him have 3 power on turn 1, and obviously you guys know how doubling works. This is gonna put us, this is gonna make our Logrithmatron grow a lot faster, because getting 1 more power very early is a very big deal. Interesting that he pulled Chlor back there. I guess I could have played Rabbit. That was the only card I could have done. So, I mean, it's a fair move on his part. And I think we can afford to defend here. I don't think these things are going to suddenly jump to 5, which my guys are obviously going to do. Tough call whether we want to hold the retaliation. Oh wait, no, we don't want retaliation. We don't need that. We're killing the Chlor. Okay, so Chlor is not dead, and our Hakim is dead. That's super bad. That is so bad for us. Like, geez, that is so freaking bad for us. Oh, man. Okay, well, let's just, we gotta play it out, right? Okay, I should have defended. I was worried he was gonna play Luca. That was stupid of me. We just get pounded for a bazillion right there. Okay, Defiant Engineer is a lucky card for us to draw. I guess, sort of. At least we don't have to care about overcharging it. And I think we're gonna do no abilities. Oh, my bad. Vigilance. And no extra abilities. And of course we overcharge this. So that puts our guy to 59. No, 49, I believe, is how it's gonna work. Oh. Wow. That's brutal. At least we soaked a lot of the damage. Unfortunately, there's a very good chance that we just die. I think we've lost this game. If he has Sackless, we're pretty much dead. We have no answer to Chlor. We could try to tie is probably our best bet. And the way we have to tie is this is going to put him to 98, and this is going to do 2 damage, and then we'd have to top deck Hakim. And that's provided that we don't die here. And I haven't done the math, but okay, there's the other controlled temporal anomaly, so we've definitely died. Oh man. Okay, and unfortunately our sideboard doesn't actually include many cards we can put in, I don't think, because his deck is an aggro deck, and aggro decks are what prey upon our deck, which is why we have so many main board anti-aggro cards. I mean, what we can do is take out Luca Rebellion Leader, because that's never going to be helpful. And we could put in Hulking Sniper, because it's a 1-drop, I guess. Or we could put in another Wreckful Walrus. In Italy, we didn't ever see a Bromix banner, but it's got to be in there. It'd be too much of a value card for him to pass up on. Hulking Sniper won't do anything for us other than be a 1-drop, and we've already got 6 1-drops, so I think we'll put another Wreckful Walrus, and we just pray. I guess the other good thing is, the only good thing about our game 2 is that he probably also doesn't have any cards that he sideboards against us. Just judging by the fact, like, I don't know what he would put in, really. And we have the turn 2 fight this time, which is nice. And then turn 3 we can play Biganator and Splitter Light, which are, oh god. Well, I guess he put that in against us, unless that's main board. Ugh. These matches are a lot harder when Chlor is still alive. I guess we keep our controlled temporal anomaly. It's a way for us to stay alive, but we're just gonna get completely blasted. If we lose this one, then you're just gonna have to take my word for it that this is a top deck. I can't actually make this video insanely long. Let's see. I guess we'll recycle fight. We'll make an 8/8. And we're gonna overcharge this, and we're gonna keep the controlled temporal anomaly. Okay, the good news is that he's been pulling back occasionally. I don't know why, really. I think he's all clear to just go ballistic on us. And we're gonna do Vigilance here again. Overcharge the Defiant Engineer. Unfortunately, because we're getting it later in the game, it has minimal impact on when we can kill him and when we can't kill him. I guess the good news is we block most of the damage, but he's got a lot of these 2/2s. I don't know if we can win. It's not optimistic of me, but I think it is realistic. Because I guess the good thing is that we are demonstrating the weakness of the deck that I'm using right here. The strength of the deck is that it's very uninteractive. Your game plan is the same almost every game, so it's very simple to learn and simple to play. It's very easy to build even if you're a newer player. And it's insanely strong in certain matchups, but it's very, very weak in others. And we're seeing that right now. And it's interesting that we got to see this same deck performing so well these matches and so poorly in the other one. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything we can do at this point. I could have played differently, but I don't know how differently I could have played, whether it would have changed the outcome or not. Like things that went bad for us were Fight's no longer in the graveyard, but our Fight didn't connect with his Chlor early. And I think we still made the right decision there. But like, if we had played differently, we might have been able to kill Chlor on a different turn, or at least have spent that turn better by playing a character. I don't know. Like, obviously, we can't stop all these characters, and we're only at 12. Sackless is going to kill us. This card needs to be overcharged twice before it gets within one-shot range. We can defend with it, is really probably our best bet. And we can kill Bromic and poof something, or use Fight. I think we poof the Chlor, but we're probably dead. Oh, Sackless is going to kill us for sure. All right, so that's game over. But anyways, this is a very, very strong deck, and although it clearly didn't work this game, you did get to see it work the other game at least. And anything that's got 2 flamed on it is your worst matchup. Like those are the only decks that you're seriously going to struggle with. And also we can see quite clearly that I've made it pretty far. And although I don't know who abusing Tiebreak is, they're clearly someone who moved to a different account, because I don't know why you would name yourself this unless you knew about Tiebreak abuse, which I think has been fixed at this point, but I'm not sure. Anyways, they're pretty high up on the leaderboard as well, and they played very well, and their deck also has a distinct advantage in that match. Okay, but yeah, that's the breakdown of the Logrithmatron deck. It's fun. It's good. Before we go, I will say one more thing about it, which is that there are other variants. The one I just showed you is the most like typical one, like the straightforward, just general Logrithmatron variant. But another variant is to use Enya in the command zone, and that opens up a whole bunch of possibilities. The advantage of it is that you can do a lot of crazy stuff with it. Like I've seen Enya, Logrithmatron, and Agent Coil Divine Demonic, which lets you pump up your Logrithmatron faster. I've also seen just a general Logrithmatron deck with Enya in the command zone, but then you can have an Omnitron package in it. You can also use search for the key to find your Hakim. Other things that are cool. I think it's Chaos in the Ranks or something like that. Yeah, Chaos in the Ranks is another way to prevent your opponent from blocking Logrithmatron. If they don't know you have this card very frequently, this will take away all their defenders. So it's a cool deck. It's a cool strategy. It is an effective strategy despite the fact I lost that game. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And until next time, everybody, peace out.